You're listening to Ember Weekend. I'm here, not with Chase McCarthy, but with Charles Lowell. I have the honor of having the founder of the Frontside co-hosting while Chase is out on vacation. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing pretty good. Actually, this is going to be my final activity for hitting the sack because I'm actually broadcasting from Finland.
This is so amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's about 9:30 at night here. Still nice and bright in the sky, and I think I'm actually going to go to the sauna, have a few beers, and then hit the sack.
That sounds awesome. So cool. So Ember Weekend is where we talk about newsy type things, and this episode will be no different. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. I'm broadcasting from Jack's Beach. It's actually not the weekend, this is kind of unusual. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'll do the editing on the weekend, so that'll make up for it.
I think that counts.
Yeah, there's some podcasting happened on the weekend, just not the recording or the releasing. Yeah, that counts. It's good.
Yep.
And this episode is called We Don't Know Yet. We'll let you know at the end of the episode. So with that, I guess let's get started.
Alrighty.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is a set of screencasts by Sam Selikoff and Ryan Toronto. We've talked about Sam. We've talked with Sam on the show a few times about Ember CLI Mirage, and I was lucky enough to get to meet Ryan at EmberConf, and they got to talking about this screencast series and kind of like what their goal is for it. And I think it's really to have high quality, up to date screencasts, kind of a la Ember Screencast, but maybe targeting more corporate-y client things. Maybe I'm misrepresenting, but you can go and check out the EmberMap stuff on EmberMap.com, and there's a couple of episodes that are free to listen to kind of get a feel for how this might help you. And I know that they're still kind of in beta, so you can always reach out to Sam or Ryan and kind of get some more information. But specifically, one of the ones I want to talk about is the refactoring screencast that they do. The first half of that is about Ember composable helpers. I thought it was really neat. So Charles, did you ever get a chance to take a look at the EmberMap stuff?
I haven't. It's funny, when it first came out, I was thinking, my goodness, there's a whole, I was thinking it was an Ember add-on or something to give you like a map. I was like, is this some sort of Google thing, or is it basically a hash, like some power hash?
Yeah.
But I haven't had it. I haven't actually had a chance to look at it. But any screencast that uses Ember composable helpers as the intro is like A-okay with me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's exactly my thought process as well. Sam was nice enough to let me do a little sneak preview right before they launched, and really dug it. So I definitely think it's a resource out there. I just love, the Ember community has this like habit of just putting out awesome content, and I think that this is no different. Just you get this like high quality, like people who actually care. There are transcripts per episode, which I think is a really nice touch. Kind of reminds me of lynda.com or some of the other teaching tools that are kind of outside of the Ember ecosystem. Really dig it. And we were talking a little bit earlier, and Ryan taught us about monads. So Charles was educating me on monads, and I think the prevailing thought is that most metaphors don't really work when trying to describe monads.
I think that's fair enough. Actually,
is that fair?
I think also too, it's yet another one of those things like SSL and broccoli, where it's
the thing you don't use frequently enough to where it's these sharp skills that you have have to kind of relearn them every time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, but definitely check out EmberMap. It's really cool. I think that, like I said, I think that they're still trying to roll things out and get an understanding of who is going to be interested. So I think this is a really good time to check it out and reach out to them and see what they have. See if your use case kind of helps with or fits in with their mentality and kind of get a better idea of what's going on. But it's definitely high quality, awesome stuff. And I think the goal is to create little modular pieces so that they can be updated really well. So definitely a cool thing. So definitely check it out.
So the next thing that we're going to talk about is a blog post by Balint Erdi on building an Ember app without a backend. And I actually got a chance to hang out a lot with him at EmberConf. Really, really sharp wonderful dude. And actually, I got a chance to pair with him a few weeks later, and he taught me some pretty awesome techniques surrounding like object prototypes. But in the context of this, he kind of goes through the process of building an Ember application using Ember CLI Mirage and how you can build it from the outside in. And at least for me, I very personally connected with this technique because, this is kind of like a dream come true for someone who's built UIs and built web UIs for a very long time. Usually you're always beholden to some sort of connectivity to the background if you want to demo your app or develop your app. Whereas, now we when we pitch clients on an application, we'll say to them, we can develop pretty much your entire application with very, very, very rich functionality that feels, I don't know, there's a verisimilitude to it when it's got real faker data that's, it's not like thrown together test names
Right.
of stuff. It's actually plausible people's names, plausible avatar images, plausible addresses, everything. And it's actually, from your application's perspective, there's actually the asynchrony there as if there were a real network, and it lets you focus on that experience and then build the back end that will drive that experience, but it lets you
Yeah.
you treat that experience very fully. And so he shows you exactly how to do that. And so yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And just having read Rock and Roll with Ember, which I think he takes some of his examples from his book, uh, he's got this like ability. He's a great teacher. I feel like there's some really great teaching points and teaching moments along the way that after you've been working with Mirage for any length of time, you're just kind of like gloss over. And he's like, no, I kind of know. I feel like it's a skill that a really great teachers have, where they
Yeah,
kind of
you
are
have to.
able to put themselves into the
Yeah,
shoes of people who are learning from
you have to
scratch.
be deeply empathetic.
Yeah, and he definitely has that. Rock and Roll is no different. I've read that a few times now because of just how good the the kind of process for teaching is. It's just wonderful. I really dig it. And this blog post is a great introduction to Ember Mirage. And no bones about it. Ember Weekend has been staunchly pro Ember CLI Mirage, including in production on the Ember Weekend site, of course, which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
Um,
in production,
so
nice.
yeah, no, I mean we delivered that without a backend, so it's
Hmm.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
even
but
imagine life without it.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I really dig this, and this is a great blog post, a great kicking off point for really diving into Mirage. So yeah, so definitely check it out. So in the past couple of weeks, I want to say it was maybe 2 weeks ago, Mike Fontanakis released a really really cool service called Percy. And I don't think Charles, you and I haven't used it, right? I know I haven't used it. I don't think you've had a chance to fiddle with it yet, have you?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
My
So
interest is peaked, but I have not had a chance.
That's exactly where I'm at too. It looks super, super interesting. So the principal idea is visual diffs. One of the cool things about this particular thing is that there's already an Ember screencast that can give you a lot more information about it. And the idea is that you have an API in your acceptance test. You can put a take screenshot call, and it'll actually take a screenshot, and then it'll compare it against past test runs. And anytime a snapshot is pixel different, it will show you that in the Percy thing. And then you go to the Percy service, you can view all the stuff, and then you click yes or no, like this is good or bad. And it's kind of like it's basically like a manual QA kind of thing, but
Hmm.
automated. So it looks really, really interesting. It has good GitHub integration. And the free tier is 500 visual diffs, which seems like a really good place to kind of fool around and see if this is going to provide value to your
Right.
team.
Is it going to give you less work or more work?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully less work and hopefully a lot more peace of mind.
Hmm.
But I don't know. And we're not sponsored. I just think it's really cool. So just wanted to throw that out there. I think it's, I don't know. It looks really interesting. I was
Yeah.
talking earlier with Charles about how I don't know how this would be implemented in other ecosystems because their build tooling and their testing stories are usually vary from project to project. It's it's kind of exhibiting the power of Ember, the ability for Ember, based off of its conventions, to create solutions like this that are going to work across you know a bunch of different projects.
Yeah. I was actually thinking that I had this. You have like these shower thoughts, and you see these kind of charts showing the relative popularity of frameworks, like how many installs there are. But
Uh-huh.
it occurred to me that if you actually consider the amount of code that people actually share, like the actual amount of shared code, and consider that the community. In other words, not just you happen to be using this library, but my application resembles this other application by 95%, so to speak. In other words,
Right.
95% of the code is shared. Um, it seems to me if that's like your determiner for community, then the Ember community really probably dwarfs every other one. I might even
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't have any data to back that up, but I
It's
suspect
like
that
gut
if
feeling.
yeah, just a gut feeling. Well, if I think it would be a interesting avenue to explore to say like this install base of common code actually is much larger than any other.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, anecdotally, I think I found that to be true. Where I, go from project to project, and I tend to bring the same kind of toolkits with me, kind of
Right.
like a Rails prime stack kind of thing, where I'm like, oh, I want composable helpers, and I want truth helpers, and I want this and that route actions, the route action helper. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You just have these like these are things that are going to be shared across a lot of different places. And
Mm-hmm.
definitely, Ember is uniquely suited to do that because just like Rails, the convention over configuration mindset, I think it provides a lot of easy wins there.
Right. And so you're able to reap the benefit with tools like this. And for me, visual regression testing has always been something of a like what's the word I'm looking for? Not a chimera, but it's like hard like chasing the dragon.
Chasing the dragon.
It's like something that's always vanishing over the horizon, chasing a mirage, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah.
But so I've got high hopes that this will be something worth looking into.
Yeah, definitely. I do as well. I think the last time I really tried to dive into it was some error screenshots that would show up in Git from Capybara, which was actually pretty useful. I found a few places where that was really useful, but pretty difficult to set up and a little bit more trouble than I think value it adds. So hopefully this is a lot more painless and a little bit easier to get off the ground with. So I don't know. It's definitely exciting. Once I'll probably bring this up again in a future episode. Once I've actually had some time to actually play around with it, but it looks pretty cool.
So definitely check it out.
So this next one I just wanted to kind of bring up mainly because I think that there was a lot of effort put into the issue, and it's the issue is by Nathan Hammond, and he created it to basically an attack plan for getting lazy loading of engines into Ember. And the cool part about this issue is that it's broken down into different phases or different responsibility areas, each with a goal, a description, and kind of an attack plan for how it's going to go. Like what's the general idea? How do we think we're going to do it right now? And then also a checklist of different things that you can help with. So if you're at all interested in kind of contributing back, I think this is a great place to start because the ideas, the issues have already been kind of broken down, and there's already people responsible for each subsection. So you can actually go to them and say, "Hey, I want to help here where I can. What's the best place for what's the best way for me to go forward with helping out?" It reminds me of the test issue that Godfrey Chan put out. I want to say early March, maybe somewhere around there,
Hmm.
right before
Yeah, I
EmberConf.
remember that.
And it was basically like, please send help, and it got like a bunch of different contributors to help because they were, it was a isolated place where a person who knows a lot, has a lot of context, has helped lower the bar for contributing back.
Hmm.
And I think this is kind of a similar vein. So if you're interested in contributing, this is a great place to look. So definitely check it out.
And the beauty of it is once you start contributing, you stay contributing, and it's
Oh,
very.
is that true?
I think so. I mean, and then people who contribute are also like very empowered, then because they
Yeah.
come that much closer to the tool set that they use, you know, in their day to
Yeah, like
day.
sense of like ownership or like pride in that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I can
and
agree
just
with that.
straight up like they transfer that context. By working on it, you absorb a lot of that context that you didn't
Mhm.
maybe have before.
Yeah, and I think this actually extends outside of just the Ember ecosystem as well, because you learn how to interact with people via GitHub issues and how you can communicate clearly across these kind of borders and uh, I don't know. I feel like it ends up setting you up for success in other OSS.
Yeah,
So yeah, I can definitely see that. Absolutely.
yeah. No, these type of events are fantastic. It's just like it's like a what's like a subway stop. This is a great chance to get on the train. So now you were actually telling me earlier this week about a interesting bug that you ran into as you were trying to do something relating to testing. I think it was around services. Do you want to go into that a
Yes.
little bit?
I would love to. So one, when you say I was working on a bug, I was actually just smashing my head against my keyboard for about 2 or 3 days, desperately trying to figure out why a thing
Sometimes
that I
that
know.
works.
Yeah, no, just map everything to like Control C and just shut everything off and you just roll your head across the keyboard. Totally. Yeah. So it was basically the goal was for in an acceptance test. I had a reliance on a service that makes a call out to a payment solution. So like basically like Stripe, but it wasn't Stripe. And didn't want to actually integrate with that, and I didn't want to stub out the actual requests. I want to have more fine grained control over that service, where the service is the boundary of my test.
Mm.
Even though it's an acceptance test, I feel like there could be arguments made where stubbing a service in this way in an acceptance test is a little bit of an anti pattern. But I think that knowing where no, I know where I think my test is responsible for, and
Mhm.
it's mostly around UI here. So I think it's kind of a good place to do it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll stub out the service, and then I can put.
My general rule is if it goes to the network, I'm stubbing it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to think about it. I think that's kind of where I was drawing the line as well. But with the stubbing, if you stub the service in the acceptance test with this solution that I found, you can put assertions on your stubbed out code. So in that way, you can actually assert that at least the things that you expect to send to these services get sent correctly. And I think that covers
Hmm.
that gives me enough confidence to think that it's working. It's good enough. So what I did was I actually took a really cool example from it is the Ember route action helper from Dockyard has a register function uh, inside of its module for acceptance test or a module
Hmm.
for acceptance
Hmm.
module, and that allows you to basically say, okay, I'm going to register by the service name, so service colon my service, and I'm going to give it a factory, and this factory is going to be instantiated and put into the service. And I've used this before on like 2.4 apps, and it was super easy. Like you just pop it in, and you can just do it, and you get a register very similar to an integration test allows you to register things. And then the problems came out because the app I was working on is actually a 1.13.13 app, and because of a certain internal thing, the resolver is set, and therefore the register won't allow you to override it. So you actually have to null it out. You have to turn a no op into this thing. This is not making a whole lot of sense. I feel like I'm gonna put a gist in that
Yeah.
shows you exactly what's going on,
Basically, you have to like
because
put in a deep, like a deep dark magic foo hack.
yes, exactly.
So
And
yeah.
you only need it for 1.13.13 to 2.1. And I actually know the commit where it was fixed. It has to do with the application instance had a resolver function set. And if that is set, it will never reach the fallback registry. And basically, there's a one-line fix for it, but it requires just a tremendous amount of work. Luckily, I was able to pester Robert Jackson to help me kind of figure that one out. And I'm going to try to backfill this example on Dockyard. And I was talking to Charles about potentially making this into an add-on, so that when you want to register a service, there's a little bit better of a place to do it, a little more localized kind of thing to do there.
Yeah, and
So
if you were to do that as an add-on, I can tell you, the next day, maybe the next hour, I would install that add-on because this is a problem that we come across pretty frequently. And
Yeah.
I think we were also talking too. If you have a add-on that provides a service, then you want to provide a very friction-free way for people to run their acceptance tests inside that use your add-on, but then have control over that service. So if your
Yep.
add-on is, say, integrating with Stripe or integrating with Facebook or doing this, loading scripts into the page, well, you don't want to do that in test, and you want to be able to, I would say, register mock services just from the get-go, but then also be able to present those mock services to your the acceptance test and the application proper.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be such a huge win because you like you're saying a Stripe, a payment service is a perfect example where you're like, okay, in test I want this to do everything the same that it does. I want it to respond to all the same methods. I want it to do the same stuff, but I want those things to be no ops.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then a Stripe, the Stripe add-on, if it gets created down the road, would just say, okay, well, I'm going to include my own mock. So you'll get these canned responses whenever you
Right.
give me the right
And
information.
I'll log all the calls, and if you want to make assertions against them at some
Yep.
later point or as part of your test, great, you get that for free.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, and I think that's an easy win. I think that might be down the road. I really need to figure out more about testing hooks in the
Yeah,
build tool.
but
Build time.
simply being able to in a carefree way be able to register mock
Yeah.
services would be huge
Yeah, which is really
from your
interesting
acceptance
because
tests.
so yeah, exactly. So if you have that add-on, if I make that, it's still just a really really temporary solution because eventually, in the not too distant future, there's going to be the testing reunification, and there's already a kind of a path forward where everyone's going to have the ability to register. So it's kind of like a stopgap measurement because right now I think there's good use cases for stubbing services and acceptance tests. So it's like do it now. It can be kind of dirty and it can use some private stuff as long as the path forward is going to be better once the reunification comes through.
Nice. Well, in the meantime, I will check it out.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm definitely going to get the links. We're going to put links in the show notes for the existing Dockyard thing, and then basically a gist of the test helper that I wrote that handles that one particular bug for 1.13 to 2.1, which likely you probably won't run into it, but if you do, and it only actually is a bug if you already had a service registered. If you don't have a service registered and you register a new service, it works. So it's kind of like this weird thing that just happened to bite me and cause me a lot of pain. So maybe this will help out somebody out there, some poor soul who's running into the same thing as me.
We can only hope.
We can only hope. All right, so yeah, thanks for sticking with us to the end. Really appreciate everyone reaching out and contacting us. If you ever have any questions with regard to stuff we talk about on the show, reach out. I am Jonathan Jackson, and my Twitter handle is Rondale_SC, which means nothing. And Charles is Cowboy D.
Cowboy D. Yeah, and thanks.
Does that have special significance?
It actually stands for Cowboy Dan, because when I went to my freshman year at the University of Michigan, I was the only person from Texas who was there. So they started calling me Cowboy Dan, even though my name is not Dan.
So good. That is so good.
And it's stuck with me.
That is so good. That is my favorite story about Twitter right now. That's so good. Yeah, so you can always tune in to Ember Weekend on Twitter at Ember Weekend, all one word, or you can hit us up on our RSS feed. It's emberweekend.com/feed.xml, and we'll be back next week. Oh, we didn't name the episode. Oh man, we're gonna name it. I think it should be called Bug Integrat.
Bug Integrat.
The worst
like
show
that.
Note that I've ever written.
Can I sing the outro? Gonna be like,
yeah. That's pretty good. Oh my god, that's so mad. I'm like dying over here.
I can't believe I was on Ember Weekend. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for filling in. I really, really appreciate it. I mean, it was so last minute too. This was a wonderful experience. Thank you so much.
Hey, no worries, man. I just hope I can keep up because you and Chase have like that cool fast paced banter, and it's just like, check this out, check that out.
Oh yeah, no,
and like that just it's always like boom, 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 on point. Makes my brain feel slow.
Oh
That's
no,
great.
no, it's all post processing. We'll be good. You're gonna be a genius. You're gonna be faster than any of us. All right, cool. Well, we'll see you next week.
All right. Take it easy. Bye, everybody.
All right, I always close that, and that's always the weirdest part about anything is you're like, so yeah, that's cool, or I say definitely a lot, or
Definitely.
yeah, definitely cool. Yeah, check it out.
Can I do the so definitely check it out. Can I do that one next
Yeah,
time?
no, that's going in. It's going in. That
Okay.
one right there was
That one
going
right
in. I
there.
think.
Okay. That's gonna be the
No,
transition.
no, we'll